Hey, Pat. Stu, how are you guys?
Good. Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I'm a very active Catholic in my church in Plano, North Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
And I was invited to a meeting at my pastor's house with 30 other active parishioners. When I got there, there were 4 community organizers from Dallas Area Interfaith, which is a local affiliate of the Industrial Areas Foundation, founded by Saul Alinsky in 1940. Found all this stuff out afterwards when I did some investigation and digging on these guys. And if you go, I went to the Dallas Area Interfaith site, and there's a whole list of churches, Catholic and all sorts of other denominations, that these people have as members. And they're basically, seems to me like they're just infiltrating the church. Lots of these churches here in Texas as well as other areas. Just wanted to kind of get the word out. These people need to be investigated.
Okay, well, let's. We're having some apparently audio problems with the phone call here, so we'll let him go.
The phone call isn't being heard?
Well, no, they're hearing it, but they're hearing apparently some echo. But we'll we'll work with it the best we can. As everybody knows, we're having issues here today. But I think this is exactly what Glenn was talking about when he was talking about social justice and something.
What our caller from Dallas was saying was that he went to a meeting of some interfaith organization. A bunch of community organizers showed up, and apparently it was some of these organizations, or the one he went to, was started by Saul Alinsky back in the 40s, and that goes to exactly what we've been saying about the social justice deal in infiltrating some of the church organizations.
Yeah, and again, like, I think there's a temptation by a lot of these. There's 2 things that could be going on. Number one, at a local church level, it's very possible these people have no idea what the background of these organizations are, and just see someone who also wants to help the poor and is at least talking that rhetoric, and goes along and works with them. So that very well might be the thing, and I think that's the exact thing Glenn talked about. God, it took 30 seconds for him to get to it, so everyone cut off the transcripts. But he was talking about is make sure you go and you ask questions. Make sure you go and you try to figure out and kind of let them know, like, I don't know about these guys. Look at what they stand for when they're not in the room with you. But the other part of it is I think there's a temptation of some local churches to think, well, we don't necessarily agree with them on everything they say. But there are issues that we can work together on. We can pull them in. We both want to help the poor, so we can work together on that. Maybe you can. I'm not the smartest guy in the world. Maybe you can, but you got to be careful because these people are pushing an agenda that most churches, at least every church that I've ever been to, does not agree with. You know what I mean? If you're talking about, it's social justice is it's part of Marxist theory. It's part. Everyone's like, I can't believe Glenn said social justice had fascist roots. Look at the Father Coughlin magazine. He was the newsletter. He held it up on television. It's called Social Justice Weekly, and in it, all he did was preach about anti-Semitic views, as well as hardcore support for Benito Mussolini. Now you can say, hey, it's changed since then, but realize the roots of it. I mean, it was a way to pitch this message in churches.
And it was also a way to fundamentally transform the country. This is the way they're doing it. They denied the whole during the entire healthcare debate. They denied every single step of the way that this was about redistribution of wealth, that this was about taking money from the rich and giving it to the poor. And now, only now, after the fact, do they start admitting it, and they've admitted it in the New York Times. Max Baucus just admitted it. We played that sound for you. Here's what Max Baucus had to say about the bill.
This is also an income shift. It's a shift, it's a leveling to help lower income, middle income Americans. Too often, much of late, the last couple, 3 years, the maldistribution of income in America has gone up way too much. The wealthy are getting way too wealthy, and the middle income class is left behind. Wages have not kept up with the increased income of the highest income Americans. This legislation will have the effect of addressing that maldistribution of income in America.
Maldistribution.
Because health care is now a right for all Americans.
What is that?
Because health care is now affordable.
No, it's not. It's not a right. It's a forcing. You're forcing us to do it. It's not a right. That's different. You're not like a right is something that we get to execute on our own. This is a law. This is a mandate, not a right. You're
right,
telling us we have to have it. That's not a right. But I mean, it's interesting because they always talk about how the wealthiest or their income is growing faster. Well,
how does that affect us? If Bill Gates made $50 billion last year and $60 billion this year, but my income also rose by 5%.
Why is that bad?
I don't care.
No, why is that
Why
bad?
do I care that his income just went up, 25%? How does that hurt me?
Right.
It doesn't.
Right. It's about everybody getting better for everyone.
The way the Marxists look at this, and they are Marxists, don't make any mistake about this, because they believe there's a pie of money. They don't believe in the free market system, that there's not a pie, there's a bakery shop where you continue to bake pies of wealth. You put out pie after pie after pie, and you continue to eat as much as you possibly can until in some cases you get sick on it and you start giving pie to other people. And then you're happy with your pie because you've shared it with others. Now, there is not a finite amount of wealth.
No, keep talking about pie. I like that better.
Yeah, it's okay.
There's not a finite
amount of pie. It's not a matter of me giving you my piece. You go out and get your own.
Yes.
Get your own piece of pie. Or make an entire pie. Bill Gates' pie doesn't affect me at all, except it provides me with cool computer stuff.
Yeah.
That's what it does for me. And it provides a fresh economy for the area of Seattle and all over the country and all over the world, because he's got employees all over the world. So if Bill Gates decides that he wants to go out and provide vaccines with the wealth that he's accumulated, that's a good thing. And I don't hear them complaining about that. Bill Gates' wealth is providing vaccines for millions of people across the country.
Right. And exactly. And it's so obvious to anyone who thinks about it. When rich people get a lot of money, they spend it. Well, if they spend it or they give it away, both of those things are good for our society.
Yeah.
When he goes out and buys a yacht, how many people are building that yacht? How many people are employed to do that? How many dollars of taxes go to the government for that? Even that is something that liberals can be happy about, that these things, money actually flows to the government coffers.
So if somebody's looking at that and seeing that Bill Gates has a big fat stinking yacht, a 300-foot yacht, why does that piss you off?
It shouldn't.
Why do you get... Well, Bill Gates has a yacht! So?
Yes, so
How does that hurt you in any way? It helps you.
Right, and isn't it self-defined that the rich will get richer at a faster pace than the poor get richer?
Yeah.
Because think about it. Why do you want to get money? Why do you want it? One of the best things about having money is it's easier to make more money. You're able to invest in things. You're able to take that money and you're able to, put it in the bank account or your 401k, or you're able to invest it in a stock, or you're able to build a business from scratch and hire people for jobs. But that's how you make more money. Yet people like getting rich because of that. That's one of the reasons why it is one of the advantages. It will always be one of the advantages. No matter how much you tax people, that will always occur. People will always be able to take their money and invest it in something and get a return and therefore become richer. That money's working for them. Even though they've already been taxed on it, they're going to get taxed again anyway. But that's a good thing. I mean, that's why people strive to be rich.
I just get a rash from people who say, trickle-down economics doesn't work. What do you mean it doesn't work?
What else works?
What? Trickle up? Yeah. Money comes from the bottom up? What? It doesn't even, it defies the laws of physics, for one thing.
Yeah, it does.
It does, it doesn't make any sense. How does money trickle up from the poor? How are they creating any wealth for anybody else? They're not.
It's impossible to, obviously.
It's just stupid. Trickle-down economics doesn't work. It's the only thing that works.
Right, and honestly, even if you look at their philosophy of things, it's essentially trickle-down economics. It's a forced trickle. It's really more of a river. It's a river-down economics, but you're just taking the money and you're just giving it to people who are poor. Well, whatever. I mean, it's a philosophy, but I just wish, and I'm glad now to some degree, at least they're being honest about it, what the healthcare bill was maldistribution of wealth. We should have known. You know what? And even from them, you expect it. From a politician who's trying to get this bill through, you expect them to lie about it until they get it passed, which is what they've done. But in theory, and I realize this is not reality, in theory, we should have heard this argument from the New York Times when they say every major aspect of the health bill pushes in the direction of wealth equality.
We want to deal with honest brokers.
Yeah.
Just come out of the shadows, come out from under your rocks, and say, I'm a Marxist, I'm a socialist, and here's my plan. All right, present that case. Show me the evidence of where Marxism or where socialism has worked better than the free market system, and I will give you we will make your utopia. If you could show me one case, give us one. They can't do it, of course. So that's why they always hide behind they're being free market people when they're really not, and they've subverted them. And only now after the passage do you hear any of it. It just hacks me off.